I want to challenge two standard notions of what it is to be rational.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so one notion of what rationality is, it's kind of the Spock version for those of you and I of that generation. We know, right? This idea that rationality is logicality, and you see this in there's a lot of sort of online forums that's the model of rationality. That rationality is to be as logical as possible. And the problem with that is we have to set it into an overarching idea that ultimately we're goal directed. We're seeking goals. We're seeking to achieve goals. And so one thing we have to note is that what rationality means as a method for us is we're looking for the most reliable and systematic way of achieving our goals. Right? So you say, wow, but that's fine. Logic is the most reliable and systematic way of achieving truth. The problem with that is it's not true. Not because logic isn't relevant to rationality, but you can't identify rationality with logic. And here's the problem. Logic works in terms of certainty and a completely formal system. And what that means, and I'm trying not to presuppose too much, be presumptuous of what people have seen of the series, but what that means is you're basically into a kind of processing that has to check all of the problem space. It has to check all of the information. It has to check all the possible options. You have to be comprehensive and exhaustive.
You have to be kind of like a machine of some kind, rather than
machine. Yeah, but no machine can do that. Like even our best chess playing machines can't search all the possible options. It's combinatorial explosive. They can't search all of the the problem of search is still the profound problem.
There's just too much information.
Too much. So if you were, and everybody acknowledges this who is working within rationality, Herbert and Simon, I think was it Simon's book, I think, or was it Newell and Simon, or Simon's book, I think, Bounded Rationality, that rationality is always bounded in terms of what's actually possible for us. Cherniak talked about we're in the finitary predicament. And this goes to the core of my work. We can't reason, we can't make inferences on the basis of all possible options, all possible probability, like all possible information. That's combinatorially explosive. So what we do is we bound it. We zero in on what's salient, here you knew I was going to do this, and relevant to us, right? And so that means before you can even use logic, you have to have pre-logical processes of problem formulation, the direction of attention, searching memory, and those are not obstacles to being rational because they prevent you from being fully logical. They actually facilitate, they constitute you being a viable cognitive agent. If you don't have that, you're going to be the next task I try to perform, I'm going to hit combinatorial explosion, and then I've committed cognitive suicide.
So if we're dreaming or something like that, a dream is we don't normally think of a dream as being rational.
But it could.
But it could have a rational function, or it could have a.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Well, more than that. I mean, I think that what you see is one plausible account of what dreaming does is it's a kind of optimization process on how your brain is operating. And so it's not so much the content of the dream, but it's sort of the way in which your brain is sort of practicing getting better at adjusting what it finds salient and relevant. So it does weird variations on patterns that you've sort of acquired through the day, and it sees which one of those sort of optimize its ability to track and predict and solve problems. That's why you're often solving weird problems in your dreams. Right,
yeah.
Right, and that looks all sort of crazy. It's all illogical, but it could turn out to be rational because it could be actually optimizing this process of relevance realization that is so central. Especially, and here's what I want to come back, if it systematically and reliably improves your ability to zero in on relevant information, and then I'm going to add something to that is directly implied by that, it systematically and reliably improves your ability to overcome self-deception, then I think that's how we should understand rationality. Rational practice is a practice that systematically and reliably improves your ability to overcome self-deception and to optimize your ability to zero in on the relevant information such that you are more and more capable of being a good general problem solver and achieving your goals. And that's what rationality means. So it's not logicality, but it's also not just being intelligent, right? Because the problem with intelligence is basically, Leo and I argue this, Leo Ferrara and I argue this, and I think you can make a good case that a lot of people are implicitly arguing for this, that what we're measuring when we're measuring intelligence is we're measuring sort of your working memory capacity to zero in on relevant information. And the problem with that is, and this is the issue, right? Very often what I initially might find relevant or salient is actually a kind of bullshitting. It's actually taking me away, right, from being able to solve the particular problem. I'm paying attention to the wrong things because my machinery is designating certain things as relevant or salient that actually will not help me to zero in on or track the patterns that I need in order to find my goals, right? And this is where you need insight.
Yeah.
This is because when you have an aha experience, you realize, oh no, I formulated the problem the wrong way, and I've got to change what I find relevant and salient. And that means if we have an account of rationality in which insight does not play a central role, we do not have a good account of insight, because the machinery of insight is the machinery by which you optimize your ability to zero in on information, and it's the same machinery you use to overcome self-deception. So the problem with that, with the idea of it just being intelligent, is rationality. So intelligence is what you're using.
Well, there's a lot of, there's a lot of very stupid, intelligent people, right?
Well, I would say they
have the machinery is all there, but they're not using it correctly, or
that's right.
They're not using it in a optimized way, or in a let's say ethical way, or in a
or a non-self-delusional way, right? Right? And so that's exactly my point, Andrew. You use your intelligence to solve your problems, but that can generate all kinds of skewed salience landscapes, capacities for acting immorally, for acting in a self-deceptive manner. Rationality is what you use in order to deal with all of that, right? All of those negative side effects generated by using your intelligence in an adaptive manner.
So rationality is a practice rather than something you're just born with. In other words.
Yes, no.
That's very important to think to know that, right? That it's something you work on, and it's you said it was aspirational, right? It's something.
Yes, you aspire to it.